What would you do if I sang out of tune? Would you stand up and walk out on me? Lend me your ears and I'll sing you a song, and I'll try not to sing out of key. Oh, I get by with little help from my friends. The Melbourne Ice win 10-1 over the visiting Sydney Bears in a performance that really showed what teamwork can do. The 10 goals scored by the Melbourne Ice were scored by 9 different goal scorers. In the order of the goals scored, it was Jason Backlig, Todd Graham, Matt Armstrong. He scored 2 goals for the night. Mitch Humphries, Ross Howe, first goal of the year! Tommy Powell, Jeremy Brown, Sean Hamilton, first Melbourne Ice goal! Tim Johansson. Tim Johansson was in the lineup because Jeff Smith had a minor leg injury that kept him out of the lineup. And for the entire game, only 3 players failed to register a point. Daniel Zielinski was playing in defence, as was Jack Carpenter. And it was a bit of a surprise that Sam Hoddick didn't pick up a point, given that he was making plenty of opportunities up front. The other thing about this game was a number of penalties that were taken throughout the game. The Ice had 41 penalty minutes, the Bears had 61, for a total of 102 penalty minutes in the game. Now, if you remember back to the video that I did that was the AIHL wrap-up that week that the Ice weren't playing, I made comments on several of the games on how low the penalty minutes were. It looks as if this game, suddenly they found the whistle again and decided to use it. That said, there were some pretty big penalties, so to have a quick run through of some of the major ones. Matt Armstrong and Jared Smith both picked up misconducts after drawing at each other at 15:34 of the third. Sean Hamilton and Spencer Austin both got 5 in a game for fighting at 13:16 of the third. Spencer also picked up the 2 minutes for holding, which is what led to the fight in the first place. Tim Newmark individually picked up 4 minor penalties for 8 minutes. 3 of those were in the last 8.5 minutes of the game, and it really did seem like as soon as he got out of the box, he'd be back in there a minute later. And Adrian Esposito picked up 10 minutes misconduct after shooting the puck on Huth after the siren. Speaking of Huth, he ended up facing 21 shots and making 20 saves, which gives him a .952 save percentage. And to give you an indication of how dominant the Ice were, the Bears only put on 4 shots in the first period. Daniel Palmqvist started at the other end of the ice, and I hate to say it, but he had a horrible game. He faced 6 shots and made 2 saves, giving him a save percentage of .333. In Palmqvist's defence, see what I did there? He did face 51 shots the night before when he played the Mustangs, and when Army scored the 3rd goal of the game, he was run into, so he was probably shaken up by that as well, possibly injured. He was replaced by Luke Reed at 6:01 of the first period after he let in 4 goals, and it was obvious it's just not Palmqvist's night. Reed came in and made 42 saves on 48 shots for an .875 save percentage. Yes, as the backup goalie, he faced 48 shots. And to be honest, he did a pretty good job. Even though he let in 6 goals, he made some really good saves and was pretty solid against a team that was seemingly scoring at will. And to give you an indication of that, he only let in 1 goal for the 3rd period, which was 20 minutes, so he did pretty well that 3rd period. So next week, the Melbourne Ice host the Newcastle North Stars, who are coming down for their first visit to the Ice House this season. The North Stars are currently in 6th place with a 7-9-0-2 record for 23 points. The North Stars have traditionally been a difficult team to play against. With their mix of speed, skill and finesse, they've always been a strong team, and this year seems to be a bit of an anomaly for them. A couple of the key players on the North Stars team are players like Ray Sheffield, Brian Bales, who's returning this year, Bo Taylor is also coming back, John Kennedy in defence. If the North Stars win, they could move up to as high as 5th, depending on the results of their game against the Mustangs the night before. And depending on other results, the Ice could potentially end up on top of the ladder if they win. So there's a lot at stake. We're going to have to try a lot more of this teamwork thing that worked so well for us on Sunday night if we're going to have a good chance at beating the North Stars. Maybe we should try the Joe Cocker version. What would you do if I sang out of tune?